What's up, everyone? This is Jason Tucker. This is WPwatercooler, episode number 171. Today's topic is cleaning up your WordPress website.
And your mouth.
And get everyone introduced. We're going to go in alphabetical order. Dave Jesch, you're up first.
That's scary. I'm Dave. I'm a software engineer and head button pusher at SpectrOM Technologies, and we do e-commerce-y things.
Nice. How about you, George?
I am George Stefanos. I build shiny things in Automatic on Jetpack and VideoPress, and we have WordCamp Lancaster, Pennsylvania coming up early March. If you're around, come join us.
Nice. What about you, Cosper?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Jason Cosper. I work over at WP Engine as the developer advocate, and it's great to be joining you all today.
Nice. John, we haven't seen you for a while. What's going on, John?
I haven't seen you in like almost a year.
Yay! John is back.
Hi, I'm Jon Brown. I own a company called 9 Seeds. We do custom WordPress development, mostly theme and plugin work. Been doing that for about 8 years.
Sweet. Russ, what about you?
He's
You're muted, by the way. Russ.
My name is Russ. I run WordCamp Vegas. I run the WordPress Meetup group, and I like to find out what is unnecessary in my WordPress site and remove it all.
Nice. Sarah, what about you?
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm the production manager at Zeek Interactive, and I run the OC WordPress Design Meetup, which is the first Monday of every month.
Awesome. All right, whoever's playing with the drums, come on.
Please stop.
Say, what about you?
Oh, hey, hi, I'm Say, and I wasn't playing with the drums. I make WordPress, teach WordPress, love WordPress, echo WordPress, at Say Read Media, on all the things.
Awesome. Suzette, what about you?
Hello, everybody. I'm Suzette Franck. You can find me over at SuzetteFranck.com, and I work on WordPress.
Steve, what about you?
I am Steve Zankin. I'm the founder of Zeek Interactive, and I run the OC WordPress Meetup.
Awesome. I'm Jason Tucker. You can find me Jason Tucker on Twitter. I blog over at WPmedia.pro and JasonTucker.us. So, you know, we do Google Hangouts every Monday, and every Monday weird stuff happens. And what usually happens here is we end up with some really weird echo. So I don't know what's going on, but we're just gonna kind of mess with the muting a little bit here, and then we'll get to our topic at hand.
So just blame any weird sounds on Steve. It'll be fine. That's what I always do.
Thank you.
So over the weekend, I was kind of coming up with an idea for the topic for this week, and I had a client of mine who was asking me about all of the various images that they had in their media manager, media uploader, and they were wondering why is it that all these photos that they aren't using are still in there, and how do they get rid of them? And so I started thinking about this, and there's other sites that I work on that also have the same issue where they'll have all these images in there. They're not actually attached or linked to any type of posts or anything like that. And I thought, oh, this might be a perfect topic for us to discuss.
I just would like to point out that that is specifically the reason I continually say the thing about not uploading images directly to the media library.
No, that's one of those reasons that I don't use a ThemeForest theme, because when you import the demo, it imports 10,000 photos that I'm never going to use after like 20 minutes from uploading the theme.
You know, you don't actually have to upload the demo if you're using a theme, right?
But most people like to import the demo because they like how the demo looks, and they just want to change a couple things.
And because the ThemeForest themes are too complicated to go through and actually configure the way to...
That's a fair statement.
All you need is a bunch of...
That's a very generalized statement. It's true, but it's very generalized.
Entirely true.
So, Steve, when's Heisenberg going to be on ThemeForest?
I had a Heisenberg joke. I was holding out.
So I don't want to just focus on that, just the images and stuff too. There's plenty of other things that could be removed from WordPress.
But I mean,
20 themes.
But I mean, like, the images are a good place to start, because I mean that's usually one of the first places that gets bloated, because people will just drag and drop whatever images are on their desktop, and they're like, how come I'm out of bandwidth on my server? you know,
well,
and it's
I
horrible.
mean, really, But that's not going to make that big of a difference because most of the time the images aren't going to be linked to, so they're not going to be downloaded. They may be an initial upload burst, but at most that's what, a gig?
But there will be backups.
Okay, but let me give you an
Sure.
I was going to say, are these images that you've deleted out of your WordPress dashboard that are just sitting on your hard drive? Because that doesn't matter.
No, this is stuff where like the person has uploaded a bunch of images. Say like they took photos of a house or something like that they're listing, and then they only linked to 3 or 4 of those, but they uploaded like all of the images from that shoot.
Okay, so they're sitting in your media library.
Well, there's 2 problems with that, and well, sorry, go ahead, Steve.
No, that's it.
Okay, there's the media library. There's 2 problems with that. One is that they're uploading images that they don't need and using the media library as a repository just for stuff, which is what you can use your hard drive for. That's the same problem people run into with their phones. Everyone's phones are out of space because they just have a bunch of photos on there. It may not affect your website performance, but it can have an impact on your server, and depending on what type of server hosting setup you have. But the other problem with doing all that is a lot of times people are just uploading images that are, image 0752, and they can't even, without going through all of the images, they don't even know what they are. And the media library doesn't really lend itself to, it's not a good image storage device.
Not a digital asset management platform.
That's what I meant.
Those of us that have suffered through corporate world, like you have digital asset management, like you have tools just for managing massive amounts of digital assets.
Damn!
So I had this client a long time ago, and every post that she does, the featured image is the cat. But so she'll go and she will upload an image, and she'll be like, I don't like this picture of a cat, but she won't delete it. So in her media uploader is nothing but like every cat photo on the internet has been used on her site, but she uses like the same one over and over. Like she just keeps uploading. Yeah.
The same image uploaded. Oh my goodness.
Digital cat lady.
You also
I've seen that where people have a featured image they use on all their posts, and they'll upload it every single time they make that post rather than using it.
And just keep selecting it again.
So it's like cat-1, cat-2, cat-3. It's all the same cat, right? It's like how many pictures of one cat?
How do you know it's the same cat, though? You don't actually know.
So what's bad about that, though, is that there's no caching happening here. So if the person goes from page 1 to page 2 to page 3, they're re-downloading these images over and over again when it should have just been cached the initial time that they went to the site. Right?
Server doesn't know it's the same cat?
So the first way to clean up your install is to not make a mess in the first place.
Well, that's easy for you.
Okay. It's not easy for me at all, I promise. But I do know that that's kind of the way you should look at it. In your install, especially if you're talking about a production site, that's not a playground. That's not a place where you should just keep a bunch of stuff, like Suzette was saying, keep a bunch of themes, keep a bunch of plugins. That's not the place for that. So, but people treat it like that because they don't know any better, which is, I guess, why we're doing this show.
Well, you know better because you've been making the same mistake for 5 years, right? And probably
I only made it for 4 years. Thank you very much.
I can usually tell how old a site is by the number of themes and which themes they have. Like they started. Some of them even have the classic WordPress theme, and then it goes into Kubrick, and then 2010. I'm like, why do you have all these? It's 2016. You have like 10 extra themes, and then on top of that,
because Kubrick is still my active theme.
Oh
I've seen old cPanel websites where you go in and there's like the host has installed like 20 default themes for them.
Oh, good lord!
Yes.
They came off of like template monster or something. You're like, ah.
Okay, so we're talking about cleaning up. Are we talking about just stuff that's hanging around that you used to have installed?
Well, definitely.
I believe that's called clutter.
I get that, but how much does it really matter to the layperson? That just having stuff that's sitting that's not being used.
Let me talk about themes.
Nothing. That's why Hoarders is a show.
Well, if any of them have something that could be directly accessed and exploited, like an old Tim Thumb or something along those lines.
George answered my softball question. Thank you.
It's a security risk. Is what
it's a security risk.
Okay.
So another thing you should do is take an audit of what you are using and see, this is something I'm using. It's not been updated in over 4 years. Maybe I should look for an alternative that someone's actually giving a little bit of tender loving care to.
Okay,
So wait, now we're talking more. We're moving over into keeping.
I didn't know
things-
Elvis does plugins. Tender loving care. No.
All right.
Sorry, I tried.
All right, so look, here's the deal with themes.
Hello,
If
Norma
you have
Jean.
old themes that aren't being updated, you need to remove them from your site if they're not active.
Okay.
Yeah.
The exceptions to that are going to be the old default themes like 2015, 2014, 2013, because those get updated continuously.
Those are also actually good to have.
And then they just reappear. So
it's good to have one of those in case you need to do some sort, one of those that it's current, in case you need to do a theme swap to determine if there's an issue in your theme or whatnot. Just FYI, when you're doing theme swaps, just keep in mind that the Jetpack CSS deletes itself.
And so let's be clear.
George.
No. It does not delete itself.
It does.
Stores itself, so if you switch back to the theme, it comes back.
No, it doesn't. Go ahead and try that.
Okay, so let's.
It used to. How did you break it, say?
Let's go back. Let's talk to our audience for a second. All right. So if you want to delete old themes, there is a delete link in the appearance section of WordPress. Now, as a developer, that's not how I would do it, but a layperson can do this. If there's themes that are not active, you can go to that theme, open it, and click the delete button, and you can delete those files. And that is a good idea.
Activate instead of delete. That's all I'm saying. That's pro tip.
And it is a little tough to find. So thank you for pointing it out. You have to click the activate button, and then there's a delete button.
No, the additional
details.
You click details, and then there's a delete button in the bottom right.
Don't click the activate button.
Sorry.
It wants to be clicked.
I apologize.
Like, click me, but that's
you will
not
not
the
have
thing
a
you
good
should click.
time.
Yes.
You'll be like, what the hell just happened? Everything's broken, and all my custom CSS is gone from Jetpack.
So the same goes for plugins. So we talked about themes. The same goes for plugins. Any plugins that you're not using that are not active, delete them. Get rid of them.
But yeah, it's not a storage device. Keep a list if you need a list of ones you may use in the future. It's called paper and pen. It works good.
I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar with this device. Is it?
I just want to suggest that you do this on a development site. Please don't do this on your live site until you've verified that what you are removing is actually removed. Because a lot of people will remove a shortcode plugin, but they use that shortcode on every page and every post. And now every page and every post is broken.
But if it's not, no, wait a second. If it's not active, I think that's safe. Am I not? Are you not agreeing with me there?
I've had people that have kept things activated even though they're not using it because they were not informed to deactivate.
Right. Again, if it's not active, then it's safe to delete if you're not using it.
Unless a theme is explicitly include filing the thing from your plugins directory.
Now, yes. Now there's the case.
You delete it anyway because.
If it's a child theme, if you're using a child theme and you delete the parent, you got problems.
Major. Don't delete the parent. Then you have an orphan child, and then that child's like gonna get you reported to like.
Don't you think Core should check for that?
Please, sir, make some more.
WordPress CPS.
I do want to say one quick thing. So if we're talking about deactivating plugins, and your plugin, whatever plugin it is you're using, uses any kind of shortcode. That shortcode is not going to be deleted from your posts or your pages when you delete your plugin. Even if you click the button that says delete the files and whatnot that go along with this plugin, it's not going into your posts and your pages to delete that shortcode. So there are a couple, I haven't necessarily used them, but there are a couple plugins, one called Remove Orphan Shortcodes. If anyone's used it? Anybody?
Yes, it's pretty good.
Cool. It's current, so there's that.
Does it actually remove the shortcodes, or does it just like create a dummy shortcode for them that returns an empty output?
Oh my God, I don't know the answer to that question. Let's find out.
I don't know. But
that's a good question.
I'm going to go do this on my live site. I'll be right back.
I want to clarify something they said. I want to make a clarification for our audience, right? There is no delete button on plugins if it is an active plugin. You actually have to go in and deactivate first before you can delete the plugin. So
especially if you're on multi-site.
We're not saying deactivate.
Shortcode though. So.
We're not saying deactivate. If you don't know what you're doing, don't just start deactivating plugins. We're not saying that. We're saying delete ones that are not active.
And then this remove orphan shortcodes, all it does is what you just explained, George, is that it does not actually delete the content. It just negates the output. So it will not appear there. It will still appear in your text, which is good. So if you can delete them all so they don't appear on your front end, and your front end looks all whack. But then you have time to go back and delete it all manually, which is why shortcodes suck.
Is whack a technical term?
Mm-hmm. Okay. You're just really old.
Okay.
Whack attack is back, yak.
On that parent theme thing, I haven't actually tested this, but apparently last year Core actually fixed that.
So you can't delete the parent.
You can't delete the parent theme while the child theme is using it.
Good.
Yay, John tried it. No.
Russ is going to go try it on his live side.
I'm going to go do it right now. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'll leave the light on for you guys.
Let's all wait while he does that.
Let's not. A plugin that I wanted to mention is WP Optimize.
Yeah.
Which doesn't work on all hosts, but I do love it. I do love it.
That's true, but it does some things that I kind of want to point out that are nice to have. Now, again, I don't do these things with a plugin. I do these things myself inside the database, but one of the things it does is removes old transients, which are important.
Is that PC these days?
I know.
Does that remove himself?
Well, here's the thing, Steve. You're talking about removing old transients.
Yes.
I believe Core actually does that on updates now.
Great. That's great. But I'm pointing that out because there's.
Point negated. All right, never mind then.
If we're talking about when I first heard this topic, clean up your WordPress website, I thought immediately of the database, looking at tables that are not being used, data that's not being used, stuff that just hangs around in the options table that's not being used. That's the kind of stuff I think about.
Because you're a developer, and that's absolutely something that developers should be thinking about. That is not necessarily something that users or even high power users should necessarily be doing, because the database is a dangerous place to chill.
That's why I mentioned this plugin, because this plugin will do a lot of those developer-y things for you without having to understand what they actually are.
But doing that without understanding them can be really dangerous.
Agreed.
Like if you're going through and optimizing by deleting all your old post revisions, and then suddenly you need them, the thing that just saved you this tiny useless gain that didn't really make that big of a difference has just screwed you for the next 2 hours when you need to go in.
I've seen that where session reviews stored in the database as a transient for membership users, and then where cart information and all that gets wiped out.
So that can't be good.
Cosper?
I was going to say, I think I need to touch on something that we haven't really touched on, which is before you do any of this, back your site up.
Oh!
Hey, that's a good. Yay! Everyone clap.
Remember when I said that 8 minutes ago? I just want to say, I said, back it up and work on a staging site. I just want to make that clear.
I just want to
have a drinking game when backups are mentioned. We drink.
Oh, I love that idea. That's phenomenal.
I just want to say, so I'm clear. So before Jason touches you, back it up. That's what I got out of that.
Yep.
Speaking about backing things up, there's also a function that you can use that will strip all of your shortcodes out of your text altogether. So here, it'll be in the show notes. Fun times.
Scary.
Don't use that if you're not a developer.
So one of the main plugins I use, it's called WP Comment Cleaner, and it basically, with the recent DDoS attacks that were happening with WP Engine and stuff, I was getting a lot of unwanted comments and crazy stuff, and so this plugin...
I get unwanted comments everywhere I go.
Sure, fair enough.
I don't necessarily
that was smart. That was really good. But so, most of my comments, I had a lot of spam. I had a lot of unapproved stuff, and this is a one-click kind of thing, and it deletes all your spam instead of trying to delete them into a trash and going from there.
And let's be clear, those attacks are not limited to WP Engine.
No, they're not specifically related, but I host on WP Engine. I have a thing behind me that I love WP Engine, but just there was a lot of comments recently, a lot of things going on, and so I used this comment cleaner, got rid of all the bad unwanted comments.
And as Say was saying earlier, one of the best ways to clean your stuff is not let it get messed up in the first place. If you use Akismet, for example, there's actually an option where if something is very, very blatantly, obviously spam, it'll just drop it and you'll never even write it to your database in the first place.
Also, in terms of backup, I just have to give a shout out to WordPress because it's such a good plugin. It's so worth that $55 for the low end version. If you don't have it, go get it. Like I know everyone's like Backup Buddy and whatever, but I just know WordPress is going to work. It's always going to work. It's super easy for users to use, so just go get it.
Hey, Cosper, would WordPress work on WP Engine? I know you guys make your own backups, but is that a allowed plugin?
Jason?
That's the question. Yeah.
Does WordPress, does WP Engine allow WordPress?
Yeah, we totally allow WordPress. WordPress runs fairly well on our system. Sometimes if you're on a pretty active site, on the back end, the kind of lower priced plan that only backs up once a day is a little bit better.
Sure.
But yeah.
I used to use that on mine, and I had WP Engine, and it worked great. But then I found it was too redundant with WP Engines.
Yeah, there's no point. There's no point in paying for a third-party plugin when WP Engine, which you're already paying enough for, is also doing that same thing, and they can help you set it up. So I don't necessarily think that would be even necessary at all if you've already got a managed WordPress site.
It's not that I don't trust WP Engine and I don't trust Jason, because I do trust him personally, but I don't trust any company having both my site and my backups. If some company suddenly just kicks the bucket or decides they really don't like me, I want to have my backups.
Does that happen to you often, George?
No,
something you have a problem with.
You would like push my backups to S3 for me? Oh, I'd be so excited.
Yeah, well,
the point I was trying to make with that was that when we recommend plugins, I just want to make sure that we're recommending plugins that can be installed anywhere. I just wanted to make sure WordPress was one of those ones that would be not blacklisted, is what I was getting at.
No, it can be, WordPress can get installed most places. The places it has problems is on super lockdown firewalls. Like I've seen it have problems with that because it won't, like WordPress can't communicate with your site. That's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Is that because Heisenberg was installed?
Sarah?
Yes, I believe it. I believe you are correct, Russ. No, I'm joking. Managed WP handles a lot of this stuff. I mean, in addition to some of like the more basic optimization queries and things like that, they will also do an FTP transfer thing of a backup to whatever FTP that you set.
Similarly, Infinite WP. I use both.
Yeah, I use that.
All right.
That was like this amazing moment of silence. I don't think it's ever really happened.
Can we come back to Jason's suggestion about cleaning up images? What plugin was that? You were talking about like removing unused images. Did you have a solution for that?
No, I didn't find anything that was you know, I've tested a few different things, but nothing that's like solid yet. I think the main thing for what you're trying to look for is things that aren't attached to posts. So that's kind of what this
can be dangerous to delete because even if they're not attached to posts, they could still be actually linked to in many posts.
Yes. There is a plugin. It's called Delete Not Used Image. And it's current. It says I have not used it, so I can't claim for it. But it basically says it'll delete the images that are not in being used in a post or page. So basically, if it's not attached, it will delete it. So all the single images get.
It's entirely possible to use images without seeing them.
Oh God. So here's kind of one thing that I was thinking about when I was looking into this is, what if this thing's attached to, say, something like in Advanced Custom Fields or in some other place that's kind of a back-end thing? What happens then? Because it's still part of the media, library, but it's not attached to a post.
Also, the header and the background images are kind of like that too. Those are not attached to a specific post.
We've lost Jason.
Oh no, and it's echoing. I don't know what's happening.
Or yeah, like when you're linking to it in a widget or whatever, like that's not attached to posts either. It could be, but normally it's not.
Yeah, you don't know.
The last problem that we had was we had a client using a plugin to optimize images, and it created like 8 different versions of the image. And then they switched over to another plugin called Kraken, and then it made another 8 images. So now they have 16 unwanted images that they're not serving at all.
For every single image they uploaded.
What's that?
I totally am with George. Removing them can often be pointless, but where I've seen it, a problem is like on older cPanel hosting where there's a 50,000 inode limit to actually making a backup of your cPanel. And so all of those extra files, when you have too many files, the server-based backups on some cPanel hosts start to have problems.
The other problem is that images that are uploaded
did Jason
and live.
run the remove image routine and remove himself from the Hangout?
Yeah, he was like, bye. The other problem with having images in there that aren't used is if there's an image that's installed in your or is uploaded, then it has its own link. So it's live on the internet, and so that can attract searches. It can attract all sorts of different activity to your site, which may be incidental, or it may cause problems. But it is an additional. It is live. It's not like it's just contained within the admin or something. It is on your site.
Since we're back on images, let's talk about the flip side of that is not having the right thumbnails in place if you've added a new image size. And the plugin I use for that is Regenerate Thumbnails.
Okay, that is like the best one of the best plugins out there.
I mean,
it is.
It has a very descriptive name.
But one of the best solutions for that is actually not a plugin, but rather if you're at all familiar or comfortable using the command line, the WPCLI script, which is command line access to your WordPress site, has a regenerate images command built in, and that'll just run through, hit them all, and it's not going to time out. It's not going to cause any problems. It'll just work.
And you can do range
great.
as well.
If you don't know command line, pay $5 to someone that does, and they'll just type it in and you're done.
I agree with George.
There is no pay $5 to someone who knows command line.
I just went to Fiverr and searched command line WordPress, and there's like 10 people already.
Yeah, and then you're like, here's access to everything. Go for it.
What could possibly go wrong there?
Right?
If you send me $5 via email, I will send you back the command line.
Here you go. Here you go. $5 an hour. Here's my root access to my box.
$5 an hour, I will send you an email that says WP.
But you're going to give your click. Oh, wait, hold on.
I feel like if I sent Jon Brown $5, he'd just send me a picture of the command line, like he wouldn't actually do it.
No, he charges 10 for that.
Because it comes with the frame. You're right.
So since Jason has logged off, I'm now in charge.
Oh, Lord.
Who made that stupid?
I'm like the vice president, and I've got my hand on the button now. We've got 2 minutes left, so any last words?
What about
I don't even know why George has insulation behind his head, as if that's more.
Because I'm currently working on insulating my ceiling up here.
He's in a bunker.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
But now it's apparently like, hey, since now it's WordPress WaterCooler Fury Road.
I feel like George is part of Anonymous right now. Like he's in a room that has no roof.
No.
When did you move to Bulgaria?
I was gonna say,
God.
John, you've probably worked in a lot of places like that, right?
Oh, hey, don't ever want me at the helm.
He says to all of Zeke.
Well, thankfully, I'm at the helm.
Wait, are there Zeke activities on this water cooler?
That's why Sarah was here.
Like George is in an episode of 24 or something in some CIA black site.
Wait, sorry, before we go.
Hey, George, if you get hungry, that's not cotton candy.
Oh, look, Jason's back. Can we all behave ourselves?
I want to write an episode of NCIS where the problem with the hack was there was a core thing in Jetpack. That would be great. Like, and we had to call George.
Get out.
And look at the time.
Oh, look at the time. We have to go. Oh, bummer. So wait, just to wrap it up, though, because that's an important thing to do. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Especially when you're talking about root access to your box. Anyway, I think it's important to keep things clean.
You're talking about root access to your box?
On your box.
Seriously?
Say
I missed you,
next to godliness.
Wow.
Anyway, the point is, before you put it in, make sure you really want it in there. That's all I'm saying. What? I'm talking about websites and plugins and stuff. That's all I'm talking about.
We've officially jumped the shark, I think.
When you upload your junk.
I'm going to wrap it up today.
That's a Fonz reference, by the way.
No, she junked the shark.
Make sure you go to our website at WPwatercooler.com, click on the links there, and click the subscribe button. If you're watching this video, click on the little thumbs up button. We would love to know that you enjoyed this particular topic, and thank you all for being on the show. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.